Greetings, Sea Kings, humans of CDM, and other fans of this channel. Right, I'm going to move me away here. Notice that my lips are often off the audio in this app. That's okay. And actually, today, most of the lesson is going to be done from camera number 1, which is above me and is going to be on the keyboard. So you'll be able to see all the little typing I do. The reason being is because we are going to use a new app. This is called Piskel app. Piskel app.com. All right, you need to sign in with your NMUSD login. And it might ask you to choose what account you're going to use. That's okay. Here's what we're going to do today. We're going to make a real quick doodle, and then we're going to create a planet, a planet that has some depth to it because we've added shadows and highlights and whatnot. Fun. Let us begin by creating a sprite. Your gallery is likely empty, and but I've been using this for a while, so I've got quite a few things in here from the past few years. Like I made a hamburger that's animated, dripping ketchup. Okay, Mr. Beast, is that okay with you? Yes, Mr. Z. Okay, good. Let's create a sprite. And I got to rearrange some windows here because I can tell this is in the way. Do something like this. That will work great. Awesome. Welcome to a new dimension of pixels. I'm going to actually begin this lesson by showing you a picture of my cat, Danny. So you'll see him pop up on the screen here. There's Danny. Okay, Danny, this is taken with a very nice camera. It has 36 megapixels. It has 36 million pixels. Let's go to Photopea. And I'm going to actually drag that picture of Danny into Photopea. Because before we move on with the pixel art, I want to show you how many pixels we're actually working with. So here I have a nice picture of Danny. He was a test subject for a baby portrait or something. I don't know. As I zoom in, we're going to start to see pixels pop up. And yeah, like right now, I can start to see little dots. They're getting clearer, even more clear. And as you keep zooming in, something's going to happen. All of a sudden in Photopea and also Photoshop, your pixels become outlined by a grid, right? And it's helpful to kind of see that grid when working this close up. All right, I'm going to zoom out. And I'm going to highlight an area that is the same area as this 32 by 32 pixel grid that we're going to work with. So I'm going to go back to Photopea, and I'm going to make a selection of a fixed size, which happens to be 32 by 32 pixels. I don't like that thing. I'm going to turn that off. Close that. Okay, so when I click and drag, that is 32 by 32 pixels. So I can zoom in and see. So we're working, and we've flipped from photography to animation. We're going to animate this thing that we make today in a very low resolution medium. I'm going to try and move this lesson along. Let's zoom out. I'm quickly going to fill the space with red. So you'll be able to see exactly how big 32 pixels is on this picture of my cat, Danny. So yeah, we're working in a very small space. It's okay because you're new, right? Let me go back to Piskel. There are certain tools like a pen tool, right? So I can move my pen tool around. Click and drag to make some sort of snowman. I see that my camera is frozen, so I'm going to just close this because it's not doing anything for me right now. All right. I've made a mistake. I don't want to lay down 2 circles like this. Like, what if I tried to draw a planet by hand? That wouldn't work. To undo that, I'm going to hold the Control key and the Z key, Control Z, twice. Let's try and draw a perfect circle. Okay. And then I'm going to fill it in with a different color. So here are my colors. I'm going to click on that. This is a color picker. There's two elements to the color picker that are the most important to you. The hue slider. Hue is like a rainbow band of perfect color, pure color, I should say. It hasn't been tinted with whites or shaded with any blacks. It is just pure color. Okay? But what happens is because I've picked this pure hue, but I have not changed this little guy here, the color is still black. So we have to actually tell it, well, what kind of green do we want? What is the tone? And we're going to refer to this in the future as the tone zone. So mash that subscribe button. Okay, I've got that green color. Look, you can see it here. I'm going to now use the paint bucket tool to click in that area. One other thing I'm going to point out is that I've got a little dot here outlined in black. I'm not sure what the default view is. You might be viewing this as 6 times, so it'll be bigger. Kind of pointless to have two large versions of this thing right next to each other. I like to see the really tiny version. Like I want to see what it looks like on Danny here. You know, like how small would it be if I gave him a little tattoo? So you can't see this element now, but when you hover over this window, see where it says 6 times? It might say full, but I'm going to do 1 time. So that is like exactly how big your artwork is. These are not real pixels, right? This is an app that we're using to make pixels. This is like the end product here. Beautiful. I'm going to use the eraser tool to erase. It'll do it 1 pixel at once. This is going to take a long time. You can also go back in time by hitting Control Z, Control Z. 3 times. Okay. We can start over. So if you've doodled with me here, we can make a new sprite. If you'd like to save your work, that's under the Save button here on the right. Save to your gallery. If you click on this disk, here is the Save to your gallery button. All right. But let's get on with the real deal. Let's make the planet. Freehanding a planet like this is not a good idea. It's also just hard to do with pixels. Undo, Control Z. All right. Instead, let's take advantage of the circle tool. I do not want you to use a black outline for this. So we need to pick a color first. And I'd also like to remind you, and I probably didn't say it yet, you may use whatever colors you want. But when it comes time to, you can use whatever hue you want, I should say. Okay. But when it comes down to picking what kind of hue you want, how shaded or tinted it should be, the value of the hue, I'd like you to keep it in the middle part here. We're going to add shadows and highlights later. So it's nice to start in the middle somewhere. But, you know, nice green planet, the forest moon of Endor, some Star Wars geeks would say. I'm going to use the circle tool now and click and drag a circle. And look, it makes like a perfect circle. But I don't know for sure if it's a perfect circle. It looks pretty good to me, so I'm not going to complain about this. But in order to ensure that it is perfect, hold down the Shift key. You can only make a perfect circle while you're holding the Shift key. If you go up like this and you're not holding the Shift key, right? So hold Shift, drag it out, and then you must let go of the mouse first. If you let go of the Shift key first, it will like cancel the operation. And you, like me, probably have an uncentered circle. So we're going to center that very easily. I'd like you to look under the transform window here. There's a sheep. It's right next to the sheep. It's called Align Image to the center. Done. I'd like to fill this with the same color that the outline is in. So I'm going to use my bucket tool and click in here. I have a pale green dot right now. This is not three-dimensional at all. It's not floating in space. It's floating on top of a checkerboard. The biggest mistake you'll make right now is to add a sky right now. So don't worry about the sky or the space outside. Okay, we'll talk about that later. That's the last step. Right now, we're going to look at this tool here, the Lighten tool. So it looks like a little half moon icon, crescent moon. Yeah. The lighten tool is fun. I'm going to use that here. And I'm going to do these kind of strokes along the edge here because I need to pretend that my light source is coming from the upper left of the screen here. Say where the Pascal app logo is. So I'll just swipe and look, it lightened those pixels. If you hang out on one pixel for a long time, it'll make it really bright. Watch. Look, it just totally widened it out. I'm going to zoom in a little bit and undo a few steps. A little too bright. It looks actually pretty good. You know, the hotter the hot spots, the more glossy it will look. Talk about hot spots in a minute. But yeah, I'm going to zoom out with my scroll wheel. Just kind of swipe across, swipe across, swipe across. You know, pretend like you know where the equator is and it's like turned on its axis and you're following that line. And now I actually have to move because I'm kind of physically far from this. But if we look at our pixel per pixel preview, it looks pretty stinking good as is. I am going to add a few more details, right? Fun. One thing that would be interesting too, if you imagine in first grade, your teacher, Ms. Harrison, told you to add a little highlight to the balloon that she had you draw, right? And that highlight is like this little pucker star looking thing, but everybody reads it as a highlight on a balloon. So you can, you could kind of pick one point and kind of focus on that for that to be the highlight. And you can kind of see a little highlight there. The next step, please imagine the sun has been stuck here for the last 100 years, lighting up this side of the planet. All right. Problem is, on the other side of the planet, this planet has been plunged into a 100-year period of darkness. Okay. I need to make this dark now. That would make sense. To do that, look at the lighten tool. It's giving you a little bit more information here. You can also darken, and you can also apply only once per pixel. I'm going to ignore that last one. But for me on a Mac, if I hold Command, it's going to turn into a darken tool. So it's really a lighten darken tool. If you're on a Windows computer, Chromebook, Control. So you'll Control click or Command click and drag. Then I'm going to do the same kinds of like circular movements. And I'm trying to keep it all to the, that bottom part should be pretty dark, and maybe over here. Okay. I'm gonna move and look, and yeah, that's it. I got a floating marble now. This is a great time to save your work. I have not saved my work. I know I have not saved my work because right here there is a little asterisk. The asterisk is telling you there are unsaved changes. To save, please save to your gallery. Here is a drawer on the right. I'm going to click on the middle icon in the drawer. It's a disk. It's a save disk. I will call this screencast. Planet screencast. There we go. I'm going to save it to my gallery. Watch the asterisk go away. Pac-Man pops up. Awesome. Okay. Last thing we need to do is add the space in the background. Let's pick a different color. So I'll click on the primary color. I don't know, let's do like a dark purple. There we go. And click. Oh no, wrong tool. I need to pick the paint bucket tool. Click. Oh, and my grid. Oh no, the grid didn't go away. It's just the same color as the purple. So there we have a nice dark, spacey sky. And I think it would be really nice detail to make it look more like space is to add some flickering stars. So the flickering will come later. We'll do the animating part later. But for today's lesson, it is just using that same tool that we used to simply lighten some of these pixels. So I'll come over here, click once. So that, oh my gosh, that's beautiful. That kind of did something. So I was really click. This time it's going to be brighter. I'm going to click and drag very quickly. Notice I'm trying to space them out how I see fit. You don't need a lot. It doesn't take much. I might do like a really bright one in the corner. A really bright one here. That's going to be a big star. Maybe you just click once, twice, 3 times. You know, you do a bunch where it's 1 click or 2 clicks. You know, put one that's right next to it. Well, maybe not right below it though. That's risky. So now if I look at my little thumbnail version, it's starting to flicker. And boy, let me tell you, when we animate this, it is just going to come to life. So thank you so much. If you're in my class, turn it in. First, save it to your gallery, because the next class I'm going to ask you to go here first. Save to your gallery. Please submit a screenshot to the attached Google form in this assignment. To screenshot on a Mac, it's Shift-Command-4. On your Chromebook, it's Shift-Control and the Windows key. The Windows key, it's above the 6 key. I'm going to show you a screenshot. I have it. Yes. Chromebook, screenshot right there. Shift-Control and that Windows key. Close this window. And the area I'd like to see is just this whole interface. Shift-Control 4 or Shift-Control Windows. Boom. Picture done. Thank you for sitting through this. I don't even know if anyone was absent today, so who knows. Please write me if you have any questions.